third. I am third, I guess, because Heathen Granny 666 is here first, and Nightclub is here second. Great to have you here. How are you all doing today? That was a nice little jump scare for you. Hopefully, it was a nice little jump scare as we're entering into close to Halloween. Ooh. Anyway, how are you all doing today? Hopefully, you're doing fantastic. I want to say hello to Heathen Granny, of course, and Nightclub first and second, and then I'm third. So anyone who's going to come here and say third, Actually, Rooster's good. That's right. I'm fourth, and I'm fifth. So that means only other person will be next will be number 6. DJ. Already being super cute. Anyway, why don't we put them in a nice little spot here for us to look at? There you go. How cute. How cute. Nightclub says, pretty good. Hopefully you are doing well also. Well, I'm doing pretty good. This was a very busy day, personally, but things have settled down and things are all good now. So, I have my tea as usual here. Got my little stir with my spoon. So, yep, we'll have that soon enough. We'll have that soon enough. We got a very interesting topic here. Something that, I've heard a lot about over the years from friends and other people and all that sort of stuff. And I never thought it would happen to me, but it has. So we will discuss that momentarily. We will. Ristas, do you have anything to say to greet the people here? Look at this one here. Look how he's looking up. This one's not, though. He's looking at the camera. He wants to watch the people. This one just wants to see me, it looks like. See, these are the real stars of the show. They really are. Anyway. Is anyone doing anything fun for Halloween coming up? Halloween's coming up as well. Although we will still have one more stream before Halloween, so... Yeah, next Sunday will be... the final stream of October, and also the final one right before Halloween. So, 5th, there you go. 3rd, 4th, actually no, you're not 5th, you're a 6th, promise. You are 6. Because Granny's first, Nightclub is 2nd, I'm 3rd, 4th, actually no, 4th, 5th, so then you are 6. Number 6. That's right. 666. That's right. Anyway. Promise Rhodes, how are you doing? It's been a while since we've seen you here. Hopefully you've been doing good as well. Hopefully we can take a sip of our tea soon. We have this nice little Christmas spoon. Can you see Santa? Can you see Santa? There he is. Santa's reminding us of the cold weather approaching. Not today, though. Today was actually relatively nice, but... yeah. Oh, you're pregnant, Promise. Well, congratulations to you. Queen Bee, great to have you here as well. Hi, Autumn. You look very pansexual. How do I look pansexual? How is that a look? How is that a look? Is it what I'm wearing here? Is it this? Is this pansexual? I don't know. There you go, 6. Life is so busy. I got engaged and found out I'm pregnant. Well, congratulations on both those ends. Total surprise, but I proved all my doctors wrong. Oh, did they say that you couldn't? For some reason. Well, there you go. I hope it is a successful one and things go well for you. I'm sure that's, if there is any sort of issue that your doctor thought maybe something couldn't work or something, then I really hope that you can get through it, and I'm sure everything will be amazing. So, there's right. Here are my little oil babies right here. These are my babies. Let's say thank you. I'm excited and I'm nervous but I'll be okay. Since I was 21, all my doctors said if I could conceive at all, it would be very difficult. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Well, I guess just hang in there and just see how it goes. It's going to be, doctors aren't necessarily 100% right all the time, and there could be different things here and there, but hey, as long as you're able to have a child and it's a success, then that's all that really matters, right? And then you're able to take care of a child, and as you usually do with kids, you're instilling your own life values in the child, and you're bringing another life into this world that will have your values and your knowledge, It's a shame that we just can't transfer our knowledge directly to the child, and then that child transfers its knowledge and all of the generations prior to that. It's interesting because I think there's some animals that have that sort of knowledge. I don't think it's really any mammals. Like it could be like some insects or things along those lines, where if there's some that are born, they already know all of the things that all of the prior generations had, something along those lines. But that would be very good to have, because just imagine how much more intelligent humans could be if they were able to pass down all of their knowledge and wisdom and things that they've learned during their lifetime onto their child exactly as it was. So then when it's a baby, they already have that knowledge and wisdom, and then they continue with that. But it's just most people I guess don't really know also how to raise a child that is, starting to learn or be, shall we say, mature enough to be able to have those sorts of, proper ways of thinking that are going to be much more mature in nature. Most people don't really mature until they're, 20s and 30s or so. Or some people, they could be 60, 70 years old and just never even mature at all. Let me tell you this. I know people like that who are older, who don't mature. I've talked with plenty of people who also, certain people that they know don't mature. It's interesting. It really is. And by mature, I mean they don't learn any lessons that life is teaching them. They don't learn from their mistakes. They just keep repeating the same thing. They live as though they're still very young, but not in a good way, Not in a good way. So suddenly everything is so serious and important. I'm like, OMG. I'm keeping another being alive, and I'll have to do this for a very long time to come, and hopefully help them become a decent human. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It would be quite a long time, absolutely. So I'm wishing you much success, and I look forward to future updates from you to see how it goes. So I guess, is it relatively recent? Like, is it just like a few weeks, or even just like a few days, or, but yeah, congratulations to you. Congratulations. Let's see if we can take a sip of our tea, and then we'll start diving into our topic in just a moment. I want to say hello to Mark. How you doing, Mark? You're a new subscriber. Well, welcome aboard. Congratulations. Let's all say hello to Mark, who's just now joining us here. Yeah, we do these live streams now. We're back again every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And we just come here and just have a nice little chat about all sorts of stuff. I would like to also say hello to Going It Alone. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Kelly Bird, great to have you here as well. Hopefully you are doing fantastic also. So let me take a sip of my tea, and then I'll start getting into some of the comments here and start getting into the subject matter, because this is a very interesting one. And I'm curious to hear from all of you. Has your sexual orientation changed? This is a very unique perspective, especially from a I'll say transsexual individual, because we're not going to use the term transgender anymore. We'll use transsexual to be more specific when it comes to individuals who transition from one sex to the other sex. So specifically, that's a very interesting topic. I would also like to say hello to Solvej So veg. I'm probably mispronouncing that, so my apologies. But hello, how are you? And Nova Star, great to have you here as well. So going it alone says, referring to your topic, before transitioning, I was bi. 40% to men, 60% women. After transitioning, I am 90% to men. I hope that makes sense. It's the hormone thing. I'm a trans woman. There you go. There you go. So we're diving into the topic already. It's a very interesting one. It's a very interesting one. See, it was such a nice warm day today. It was actually hot, but now it's cooling off, so this tea is actually kind of good. Anyway. So, why don't we start diving on into the topic at hand here? So, sexual orientation changing. A lot of people say, well, it can't change, or that it won't change, or various things here and there and everything. And here's the interesting thing. Here's the interesting thing. So, I have known people who are transsexual individuals who their sexual orientation has changed. They were interested in one sex prior to transitioning, and then afterwards it ends up changing. And I'm like, you know, that never happened to me. You know, that was something that these other people are going through, but it never actually happened to me. Because my personal situation is that I was always attracted to females. And here's where it gets a bit complex, because for some transsexual individuals, for example, let's take someone who is male to female, such as myself, they may, because they're attracted to men before they transition, they may just think that they are gay. So, they come out as gay, they start living as a gay man, and, you know, start being with men, but it still doesn't feel right to them. Something doesn't feel right to them. And it's because that wasn't actually the situation. They were not actually gay in that way. It was more so that they were an actual transsexual individual who needed to transition in order to present as a woman who was interested in other men, which means technically that would make them straight, but, you know, some people will say, well, that's still gay because they're biologically a male. We're not going to get into that topic specifically, because that's like a whole nother complex thing, but regardless, that is an interesting one that a lot of people deal with. Now, personally, I did not deal with that because I was not attracted to men at all. I just wasn't. So let me just make that clear. I was not confused that I thought I was gay at all, although as I was coming out, people did think I was gay. People did think that I was gay. My family thought I was gay, and other people thought that I was gay, because I wasn't, I guess, the typical male, so to speak, you know? So people thought that I was gay. However, that was not the case. I was not. But here's the interesting thing. So I was only interested in women. When I transitioned, that remained. I was only interested in women. I was still only interested in women for many, many years. So I guess what happened then, how did that change? How did that change? Huh. It's interesting. It's interesting, isn't it? You know? Huh. Well, I would say certainly over the past, I would say it basically changed, you know, because if you've been following me for a long time, I've made videos of, you know, a male partner that I had who's a close friend still and everything. That was back in 2018 or so. So that was quite a long time ago. So that was a male, but it was a trans man. So it was someone who was, I guess, a little different than a biological man, if that makes sense. But the thing is, it's interesting. I guess that was around the time that it did start to change more towards being interested in men. But I think around that time I was interested in both. So I was interested in women for, gosh, how many years after my transition? So I transitioned like medically in 2012 when I started taking the hormones. And then it was basically, I guess, in 2017 or so is when it started to, gradually went into, I'm interested in both men and women, So it was kind of like, okay, if it's a man who's kind of more feminine, that's probably, fine with me. I am fine with that. And then over some more years, it got to a point now, and I do know a reason now. Now I'm not interested in women at all. It's like, no, I'm good. Yeah, it's like, even if, and again, I don't want to sound transphobic, okay? Because I'm a transsexual myself. I would not date a trans person myself anymore. I would not. And that's because I'm just not interested. You know what I mean? It's just that doesn't resonate with me anymore. I'm not interested if it's a trans man. I would not be interested because I don't know. It's just hard to explain that. It's like it's different. It is. So it's interesting how that all progressed over the past decade. However, I would say over the past few years with the hormones that I've taken. So if you've been following my journey about these hormones that I have taken as well. Oh man. The hormones have been pretty crazy, I must say. I've been taking pills for a very, very long time. I'd been taking these estradiol pills for a very, very long time. And they were causing a lot of side effects. And then I switched over to patches, which were absolutely amazing, but it caused a lot of itching and problems. And then and then the injections, which there were some problems there. But it eventually got to the point where it's like, okay, extremely low dose injection, combined with progesterone as well, has made things like perfect, I would say. I feel as though things are much, much better. Like there's barely any side effects now from the medication, and things are a lot better. And I do notice if I don't take the progesterone, I do still have some of the side effects of the estradiol, but it's still not as bad as it was when I was taking the pills. But I feel as though that in itself actually made the biggest impact on my sexual orientation, because that somehow, and I guess because the injections were more effective, I guess, than the pills were, a lot more effective at such a smaller dose. That was something that really changed the sexual orientation, where it's like, okay, I'm just interested in men now. So now, mind you, I will say this, when it comes to like appearance and everything, I would say probably a lot of people agree that women are far more, attractive than men are for the most part. I mean, there can be some men that are kind of all right, I suppose, but for the most part, men don't. It's just they're really not as attractive. It's just mostly women who are, for the most part, very attractive. But I'm not attracted to them, if that makes sense. It's like they look far more beautiful and better looking than most men do. Like probably like 90% of men, at least ones that I've seen at least. So yeah. So yeah, I guess that's just something that's very interesting there. It's like, yeah, just not. I guess the hardest part right now is that for the most part, I'm not interested in most people because I'm not attracted to them either physically or their personality. So that's a very hard thing, I suppose, for me to actually find something. So yeah, we just had to wait and see. Anyway, let me get to some of your comments now. I need to take a little more sip of this first. Mm. Also, I put way too much ginger in here. Because it's kind of getting stuck in my throat. Anyway, so great. Heathen Granny says, I'm still bi as ever. Okay, so your sexual orientation did not change at all. Okay, there you go. Nova Star says, mine's been fluctuating a lot lately these past couple years. Yeah, it's interesting how that can end up happening. Yeah, certainly I would say the hormones a lot of times. It really is. The hormones play such a massive impact on your sexual orientation. So it could be all sorts of things that end up happening, you know? Maybe you just don't really know what you're most attracted to. Let's see, do transgender fans see normal naturals? Normal naturals. What do you mean by that exactly? I really hate naturals and their physiology gross to me. What is a natural? Naturals? I guess it says I guess something that is, I don't know. I guess people who just live a natural way of life who are something, I suppose, who, I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard that term used to describe people, so that's why I'm a little bit confused there. Promise Rose says, I remember having my first crush at 6 years old. Let's say Christian Bale as Jack Kelly in Newsies. No idea who those people are. And since then, I have always been heterosexual. It never changed. I love learning of other people's experiences. Yeah, I think the thing is, when it comes to people who are not transsexual individuals, you're going to have far less of that changing. It's usually people who are trans or in the LGBT community who are going to have such that massive change when it comes to who they're attracted to, especially if they're starting a hormone treatment. So, okay. Mark says, interesting, yeah, much like you, I grew up with a good friend who went from the late 90s to finally complete the female, was patient through a most 20-year process. Wow, 20-year process of transitioning. That's a lot, that really is. First guitar player, we played metal and punk rock. Oh my gosh, wow. My friend sounded like he was sucking on helium balloons. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that is very silly. That's funny, but look, that's great. You have a great friend that you've had for quite a while. You know, I think we all have, well, I don't say we all have it, but there's plenty of people who have someone who can be a very good friend to them. Let's say Sylvek says meds are really bad if you get used to them and have to take more. Well, when it comes to a hormone treatment, that tends to not be the case. You don't end up taking more of them. So that is certainly a positive. If anything, I had to take less because, oh man, if you followed my journey of the estradiol that I was taking, I was taking the standard dose with the pills. You know, just the standard dose. Okay? Nothing crazy, nothing abnormal, nothing weird. But then I went to injections, and the injection, because it bypasses your, digestive tract, where 90% of it gets thrown out and whatever, you already use a lot less with the injections. So I did a small dose to start off with. And oh man, that was far too much. Far too much. I immediately got extremely cold, was having like mega hot flashes. I literally was like, I don't know, it was just pretty bad. So then I lessened the dose to such a degree that I'm on such a small amount I know people who are taking injections who are taking probably double or triple the amount that I'm taking, and they have their levels probably close to what mine is. If not, maybe, yeah, I guess around the same. So I find that interesting that I have to take such a small amount. So I'm very sensitive to these things. I can take such a small amount and I will notice side effects. Without the progesterone, which takes off some of the side effects, when I do the injection, 48 hours from when I do it until, 48 hours later, I will feel more lethargic. I will feel a lot colder. My body will be very, very cold. So that's why the progesterone ends up helping with some of that. So, yeah, yep. I think that's just the magic key. All of these things, very, very low dose of the hormones. Nova Star says, if you met someone who is a trans man, but you like and attracted to them, and they so happen to be trans man, would you say no? Well, see, that was the thing. I was already with someone like that, so at this point, I would probably still say no now. Yes, I would. So, not interested. Not interested. Oh, Edgar, great to have you here. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. I also feel that I find myself becoming asexual. Okay. Okay. Asexual being that you're not attracted, or you don't have any sort of sexuality to other people. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think hormones can also play an impact with that as well, because for the longest time, when I was taking those hormones, it's like I didn't really have any sort of desire for really anything whatsoever because the hormones were just wrecking my body. But, not so much now. Things are much better now, so. You're bi and you love it, heathen granny. Well, that is very heathen of you. It's very heathen of you. Hmm. Hmm. Roosters, do you want to share your story of your sexual orientation? Hmm? Hmm? They don't even know what that is. They are too young. That's right. That's right. All we know is feet. Feet, 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 feet. Anyway, boys, settle down. The true stars of the show are here. Mark says, it's like God made a lot of creatures not so pretty before women, then they were more better looking creatures. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess everyone's going to have a different preference or opinion when it comes to attractiveness. So, what someone finds attractive, someone else finds ugly. You know? And it depends on what culture you're in as well, because here, that's right, smash that heart button, boys and lasers. Smash it with your feet. um, Depending on what society that you live in, you're going to find different things attractive. Like if you take certain societies where women are much more oppressed and they're, pretty much covered head to toe and all you see is like a little slit for their eyes and everything, it's like, well, how can you gauge beauty based on that? Or maybe other cultures where you have arranged marriages. Or maybe you have other cultures where most of the people are most of the women are like, lighter hair and they're have a certain facial features, or maybe there's other cultures where the women are much shorter and they have darker hair, so it all depends on the society and what the beauty standards are there, and a variety of different things, so it's like there's so many different things that people may find attractive. Now, I guess what's interesting is, if you live in the United States, there's all sorts of people, it's not just like, okay, yeah, you were born and raised in China, and it's like all Chinese people, it's like 99% Chinese people, No, it's like in the United States, you're going to have all sorts of people from all sorts of countries and backgrounds and everything. So it's much different because you could have so much diversity when it comes to that. But if you live in other countries where that diversity is not really there, then that's basically the only people who are there. So it's just very interesting. It really is. Let me take another sip, boys. There's so much ginger sitting at the bottom of this. I put way too, I accidentally put too much in. Hmm. He's got a rat mug on his head. Hmm. 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 Look how cute. Anyway, Heathen Granny says, I remember when I was 3, and I woke up one night feeling the crush I had for Jack from Jak and Daxter. I don't know how people have a crush on game or TV show characters. I don't understand that. I never have. I've never understood it either. It's like, how can you have a crush on something, even if you're watching a TV show and it's an actor, a real person, how can someone have a crush on that person? It's like, I don't know. I really do not understand that personally. I never have. And I think also because if you look at celebrities, they're very over, celebrities are not the standard of beauty. It's like that's not how most people look. Most people do not look like those celebrities. So it's just very interesting there. It really is. It really is. So I've never been that's never been in it, for me it's all about I need to see the person in person. It's like I need to get to know the person to really find that sort of attractiveness. It's like, yeah, someone can be physically attractive, sure, but I think we all have our own preferences there. It's like for someone like me, it's like someone can find me very attractive and beautiful, but other people may say, I don't like that person. That person is not attractive and ugly to me, as a matter of fact. You know? So it all depends on what your preference is. It's like what my preference is not going to be what yours is or what someone else is, And so that's the interesting thing. So when you hear people saying, that you have to put those preferences aside because they're, transphobic or homophobic or any sort of other phobic or whatever, it's like, no, it's like that's how human beings are. Human beings have the type of preference that they're attracted to. And for me, as I have discussed a little bit ago, I was not attracted to men at all. I was only attracted to women. But now that's like different, So I mean, maybe I always was, and I just never saw the right people, or I never really knew the type of people that I may be interested in. Sure, but I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, just an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing. But I guess you start learning that about yourself when you're, I guess, starting to think about, who may you find attractive? Because that's the thing. A lot of people, especially when they're younger, they don't necessarily really know. Some people do, but not everyone does. Like a lot of people when they're young and they're in their teenage years, they may not really know if they're interested in men or women, and they may, experiment, with different relationships and, sexuality and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's everyone is different in how they respond and how they are. That's what makes us all unique. How to deal with controlling, criticizing mothers who criticize how I want to look. Okay, so if your mother is telling you a certain way to look, you know, it's as long as you're old enough, then she really has no right to tell you what to do. You know, it's like if you're over 18, now if you're under 18, I guess it depends on the country that you live in, because different countries have different legal ages of what is considered an adult. Okay, so if you live in a different country or whatever, you know, your your parents up to a point really have no say in, you know, determining what you should be wearing or what you look like and everything. So you just have to just push that aside and just be whoever it is that you're going to be. You know, so Nova says it has not been the hormones. It's been my relationship with men and women in life. Okay. So if you've had rocky or good relationships here and there between men and women, sure. He then says I'm biracial too, half Native American, half European Spanish. There you go. There you go. You would like a hug right now. Well, you need a rooster. You need to buy a rooster. We give good hugs and feet sniffs. See? Watch. Boys! This isn't your OnlyFeet account, okay? You gotta save that for the premium subscribers on OnlyFeet. That's right, smash the hard button, boys and ladies. Smash it hard, and we will give it another sniff for free. For free. There you go. You get one despite you clicking heart or not. For free. Boys, settle it down. Boys, what's your sexual orientation? I think we already asked this, but I think that they know now. We are, we just love feet, okay? We don't care about the person or what they look like or anything along those lines, or even what species that they are. We just like feet. That's right. We just like feet. So to them, it doesn't matter if it's a human or a rat or another animal or even an inanimate object. It could be a chail. 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 What is a chail? A chair. A chair. That was a good one. I like that one. A chail. That's like a that's what you call a chair that is in jail. A chail. uh, uh, it could be a chair. And what do chairs have? They have feet. So Rooster would find that very, very nice. He would. Anyway. Anyway. He's a feet-o sniffer. Let me finish up my tea now, guys. Let me finish up my tea. Almost. I want to finish it because of the ginger. I'm just going to start calling chairs now chails. I'm sitting on my chail right now. Okay. We're done the tea, which means the ginger. The ginger's now done. Okay, let me get to some more of your comments here. I really wish I could learn from from transgender people how to be brave, to be yourself without fear of controlling foster carers, or I guess other people controlling you. So, you know, I would say not all trans people are necessarily the most confident people. If anything, a lot of the trans people that I've met, that I've talked with at least, are very insecure with themselves, as a matter of fact. So yes, they do change a big aspect of themselves, but they're also still very insecure. Transitioning is not what made me more confident. You know what made me more confident with the person that I am? Making videos, posting it online for the world to see, and having all of the haters come to the comment section, spew all their nasty garbage, post things threatening, me and my family, and saying how ugly I am, saying I'm a man, saying all this other hateful, disgusting, nasty garbage, and learning to just not react to it. That's what made me a more confident person. It wasn't the transition. I mean, sure, the transition made a big impact with me being able to actually express myself. But another major big impact was just hearing all that criticism and just not taking it personally. I still get comments, and of course you will. If you're a trans person, you're going to be posting videos of yourself online. You're going to get nasty, hateful comments. Now, fortunately, and I can just say I am a passable trans person, hopefully, to most people. But some people are not so much. Some people have a much deeper voice than I do. Some people are much manlier. Some people have a whole bunch of facial hair even when they're taking hormones. Some people are kind of bald. Some people are very manly looking and they have a big beer belly, and it's you're probably going to get a far more criticism and looks than I will. People don't look at me like that and be like, ugh. I don't know. For the most part, I don't pay attention, or maybe I don't know if people do, or I just don't pay attention. I don't think really people look at me. You know what I mean? It's people aren't like, ooh, this person is ugly or this person is attractive. I don't really see that personally. Okay? So it's just interesting. It's interesting. So, but that doesn't stop me from looking at everyone. It's okay, they're not looking at me. I will look at them. It's okay, let's see what we can criticize about their outfit or their shoes. No, I'm joking. I don't do that. We've talked about before how people are more wrapped up in themselves than they are with looking at you. So if you're concerned about that pimple you have on your nose and everyone else is going to be looking at you and criticizing you and judging you, people are not looking at you. And I think that's kind of the point that I'm making here, because if I'm very aware of my surroundings. So I know where everyone is at all times. If I go into a grocery store, I see this person here, I see that person there. I'm monitoring where everyone is. I'm looking at other people. And when I'm looking, I'm doing this. No one's looking at me. So that's why I know that, okay, no one's going to be looking at me and judging me. Now, of course, they could be looking at me when I'm walking away or from the behind, but not from the front or the side. I don't see people looking. So, let's say, I'm male in my dreams and opposite in real life. Is that normal? That's interesting, Queen Bee. That's interesting. I've never heard that before. I don't know. I really wouldn't even give myself a gender in my dreams. I'm just me. I don't know. It's so good to have you live tonight. I was feeling so lonely lately in the megapolis. I am homesick. Well, I really hope that this has helped you. Yeah, we are live here every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So hopefully we will see you back. We'll see you back. Granny says older women are more attractive to you. Okay. How old are we talking about, Granny? Even though you are relatively young, are you attracted to the grannies? Are you attracted to the senior citizens? Do you if you see a woman walking down an aisle, pushing a pushing, I can't even say it 'cause oh, it's so funny. Ah. Just walking down the aisle with a cane. she's going to the grocery store because her grandkids, her great grandkids or be coming over this weekend, and she has to get them some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So, is that the type of people? Is that the type of people, Granny? These guys, they have tennis balls on their walkers, pushing it down the lane. Oh man. Oh, I'm dead. That was hilarious. I'm cracking myself up. No one said that. I said that. See? I'm a comedian. Anyone who thinks otherwise, you can leave right now because you ain't funny. Uh-huh. Oh. I'm like sweating now after that stupid joke. That was so stupid. Oh man. Okay, so Mark says her voice changing. Oh yes, from like the voice of your band member. Yeah, she was an outcast by her family when she was returned to the town. She came out amazing, and finally her family. Oh, that's good. If her family accepted, that's very, very good. Is asexual is like a saint or a monk? I don't know. I really don't know if you would classify that as that. I mean, it's I guess yes, but that's not necessarily a natural thing. Because the thing is, I don't think necessarily asexuality is. We for the most part we are sexual human beings. That is how mammals are. That is how all animals are. That is how we reproduce. So if someone is asexual, it's kind of hard to say what the reasons could be for that. I don't know. I really don't. Ah. Ah. Oh man, I'm just cracking up at that. Anyway. Ah. Hmm. Anyway, let me continue on. Okay, let's say, are the meds affecting your thyroid hormones to soften the voice? So I think the thyroid does get affected by the hormones, absolutely. To what extent, I really do not know, but yeah. Queen Bee, you are beautiful anywhere. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Queen. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Let's say, referring to the creatures before people were always cool looking to me, but why do they go extinct? Who knows? That is the mystery, right? Because science has an answer for certain things, but you can't always trust history and science all the time because people get it wrong. That's right. The science gets it wrong. Yes. No, actually, no. The science never gets it wrong at all. No. No. See, look, I can do that very deep, deep voice. Whose voice is that? That is like the most pro-science voice ever. Yes. It is the science. It is the absolute best science ever. Yes. Anyway, we're not gonna do that too much. It was really bad when I did that voice and I tried to do a female version of that voice. That that was it. I was wrecked after that. That was a wreck. That was totally wrecked up. Okay, I was wrecked all up. Anyway, I'm gonna go down a little bit further here. Get to some more of your comments. Um, I've had dysphoria since age 12. Oh, okay. I guess that's around the time for me as well. Yeah, that's how a lot of trans people are. Gender dysphoria started period and not much change since I grew up. Oh, okay, okay. See, I was a trained acrobat from 5 years of age, and I had to compete from early age with others. Okay. Wow. See, it's 10 p.m. Is that Indian time? Okay. India time. Let's see. So you are, I guess, 4 hours ahead. Gotcha. Understood. Okay. Your look reminds me of 70 Rock Morticia Adams. You just need those tiny round glasses. Really? Do I now? Do I? Do I? Well, here it is. I can't stand up, but here's like the best view, I suppose. I mean, I can kind of stand up, but it's kind of hard. There. See, nothing interesting with the legs. Nothing. But that's it. See, now, if you want feet photos, you have to go to only feet if you want me to take the sock off. uh, oh, man. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. It's just, I don't know why people are interested in feet. I don't understand that, you know. I don't get it. But, Lady Loser, we're interested in feet. We love feet. Boys, that is true. You love feet. But why though? We love the stench. Ah. Boys, that is disgusting. But if they like it, I suppose that is perfectly fine, you know? You can't judge the little mice. You cannot judge the little mice. Sometimes you notice men staring too hard at your feet in public and it makes me so uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, I'm glad that I have never seen that. I don't notice really anyone looking at me personally, for the most part, as I said. And I'm someone who's very aware of my surroundings, okay? I'm looking at everyone. I know every single person who's in a place. I will look at them. You know, it's like, okay, who's this person? What are they all about? How do they look? Why are they buying what they're buying? Like if I'm in a grocery store, it's like, okay, what are they buying? And it's like, okay, if I'm looking at someone, you know, and I don't mean to make this seem like judgmental or anything, but it's like, if there is someone who is perhaps not the healthiest looking individual and I see them buying junk food, I'm just like, you know your why is not, what am I trying to say? You know the reason why you are not healthy. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think you know what I'm trying to say. I don't. You know the reason why. That is the reason why you're not healthy, right? How do you say that? Something like that. Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, for this next week, folks, what thing? Just think of something in your life, you know. And we're going to draw one card here that's going to be the theme of this week here, and that card is going to be, the moon. The moon. Let's see what the moon says here. So the moon, number 18. Deception, disillusionment, trickery, error, danger, or disgrace. Maybe there's something you have to be careful of this next week. Maybe you've been holding back or hiding certain things about yourself. Maybe you've been deceiving people. Maybe it's time to come clean. Just things to pay attention to for this coming week. Okay, so just pay attention to this coming week for things along those lines. That was a nice, simplistic thing to be mindful of. Whether it be with friends, family, co-workers, places that you go, or even yourself. You have to be mindful of these things. Be mindful. Anyway, I'm going to read a few more of your comments and then we will skedaddle on out of here. Okay? Okay. Men staring at your feet. Oh my gosh. You know what? Here's the thing. If you notice a man staring at your feet, you should just stare right back at their feet. It's like, Those are some nasty, decrepit looking feet, sir. Mind if you would take off them shoes so I can snap a pic and post it up on mostdisgustingfeet.com? That's something something else. Yeah. And staring at your feet. Oh man. Let's say, do you take any supplements for thyroid? Argan oil or something? No. Algae oil, rather? No, I don't take any sort of thyroid supplements for the most part, no. Iodine would be the first one you would take if you want a thyroid supplement. But I guess if you're a vegan specifically, when it comes to thyroid, oh, you go smash the hearts, boys and ladies. We're gonna suck them up into our feet. Ah, yes, I stole them all. I guess if you're looking, if you're vegan, I don't. Thyroid, I don't know about vegan when it comes to thyroid. Usually it's B12. You want to be careful of if you're vegan. So I take a little bit of a B12 supplement, but I think a lot of people should, and that helps with energy. But again, I'm very sensitive. Let me tell you how sensitive I am, folks. Okay, here's the B12 supplement that I take here. I cannot take a full pill. A full capsule, look at the percentage on this. 625,000%. No, 62,500%. 1.5 milligrams of B12. Okay, that's right. Fully boosted B12. Yes, even the B12 is boosted. Yes, just like all of you right now, you should be boosted to watch this stream. You need to put the stream behind a boost paywall. Anyway, so I don't take that one capsule. One capsule of that will last me about a week. If I open up just a little tiny bit. If I take a full capsule, it makes me extremely, extremely tired and dehydrated. So I only take just a little tiny bit, just a little tiny bit. That is it. That's it. I'm in Texas, so it's almost always hot, so I wear sandals a lot. But oh, see, that's why people don't look at my feet. You're wearing sandals and you're exposing them dogs. You're exposing them cruise ships. That's what I used to call mine. Because mine are so big, they're like a cruise ship. If you would like to see uncensored cruise ship, be sure to sign up for OnlyFeet. Anyway. So yeah, I don't wear those sandals anymore. I really don't like them. So I just wear flats or in wintertime boots, stuff like that. So that's why men are looking at your feet. Okay. Okay. So maybe I need to do that so men are looking at my feet and I can just go, sir, what are you looking at? You need to pay me $5 if you're going to look at some of them feet, okay? Or you get a custom sandal, okay? You get a sandal on it that says must pay to view. So if someone looks down and sees them and you notice it, you bring up your foot and go, did you just look? You just looked. $5. They're like, oh, darn. I didn't even notice. Well, there you go. That's right. Laugh it up, boys and ladies. Men have weird obsession with feet. Yeah, I mean, no, look, I've gotten comments. Not comments. I've got an email from someone asking to see my feet. Saying that they would pay money to see my feet. And I'm just like, dude. Okay, I'm just like, okay. How much would you pay? How much would you pay to see the feed? It's like, well, I want to see other stuff too. And I'm like, no. 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 It's like, okay. I mean, it's like, why? Why? It's like, I don't understand it. I know. I know. Anyway, final comment for tonight here. All the women are jealous and told me to be a foot model. They don't understand what happened to their feet. I should have applied for Dr. Scholl's. Oh man, yeah. What is the obsession with the feet? you're on the foot stream right now, so you know the obsession now. Stop playing pretend, boys and ladies. Okay, that is where we're going to end it. That's where we're going to end it. Someone asked me to see my feet on a video game. I told them it's nasty and showed my dog's feet. Well, you did show feet. They didn't say what type of feet. If someone asked me, I'll just show them my rat's feet. DJ. Anyway, folks, I'm going to wish you a fantastic week ahead. I look forward to seeing you again soon. We will be live again here next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So have a great week. I'll see you all then. Whatever it is that you're doing, just have a fun and interesting time as we're approaching the end of October. So thank you all so very much for tuning in. Thank you, Mark, Promise, Soul, Nova, Heathen, and everyone else that I missed. Queen Bee, everyone else that was further up here. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. So have a great week, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.